They say love is never having to say you're sorry, which is the biggest pile of crap you can shovel. If you've never had to say you're sorry, then you've never fucked up, which means love is for people who never fuck up. Yeah. On the other hand, if you fuck up and never say you're sorry, you're an asshole. But let's say you're neither of these and you fall in love like many of us have. It often leads to a number of terrifying possibilities, not the least of which is a wedding and marriage. It happens to the best of us. And quite often, the love of a marriage turns into a hellish, spiraling fall into the Stygian darkness of limitless agony and horror. And if you're gay, don't get all smug about it. It happens to you too. And that's what divorce is for. But lest I sound a little bit curmudgeonly, divorce doesn't have to be that way, or at least it didn't have to be that way in medieval Germany, where divorce by combat was an acceptable form of compromise. It's Russ Woody again, whether you like it or not, with another vital historical fact. The rules of divorce by combat come from a manuscript written in 1467 by Hans Talhofer called Fechtbuch. This method was used if nobody in the divorce could figure out who was right and who was wrong, and nobody was saying they were sorry. It was believed by Christians at the time that cases like this would need the hand of God to intervene. What better way to learn God's decision than by having the husband and wife beat the crap out of each other? And here's how it worked, and I'll give you a second in case you want to grab a pen and paper. And I'm sorry I don't have any elevator music for you, but I can hum. No, I'm not going to hum. The husband was put in a hole that was 3 feet deep with one hand tied behind his back, while the woman was allowed to move freely around the outside. She was given 3 rocks, each wrapped in a length of cloth to form a kind of swinging club. The man was given 3 clubs that were sort of like baseball bats. Once all that was in place, the couple would hammer out their connubial differences, and whoever was still conscious at the end of it was the winner. Now, if you were gay, there was a completely different system that was much quicker. But according to one source, divorce by combat wasn't all that common, maybe because couples eventually realized that slow psychological combat was much more effective.